Hello, gamers of the Game Report. Today I have two awesome things to tell you guys about. There's an unknown gameplay rework, unknown scale of a gameplay rework for Olaf. Okay, so Olaf takes you to page 10. 10's right here. Read more. But there's also, I'm doing RP giveaway right now, RP contest. All you guys have to do to enter, you have three ways or three chances to enter, is leave a like, leave a comment, RP, and subscribe. Those are your three ways. You get three chances to enter. Leave a like, leave a comment, RP, and subscribe. So you get three chances to win. Good luck to everybody who enters, and winner will be announced when there's 2,000 likes on this video. Okay, so now into the Olaf announcement. Hey GD, general discussion. This is Smash Gizmo. I'm Smash Gizmo, and I'm the dude currently working on Olaf changes. We've left Olaf in a pretty bad spot for way too long, and as I move forward with trying to get him back on track, I want to hear your thoughts on Olaf. Currently working iteration of Olaf. Keep in mind all iterations are subject to change prior to live release. I'm sharing as much as the iterative process with you guys as I can here, and as such, you might see some wacky experimental stuff that won't ultimately make it through. But he wrote thorough. So he had all these questions for the GD, which he ended up scratching out in an edit, I guess. So Olaf changes 1.0. Wow, Undertow. Slow, no longer decays. Now has a minimum throw distance of 450 units. Axes now stick in walls and structures rather than going through them. Slow decay on this ability ultimately doesn't make sense to me. The slow decaying accentuates the power of reapplying the slow repeatedly and lessers the impact of hitting the epic long range axes that seem like they should feel the best to hit. If I need to retune the slow numbers from here to be slightly less severity or duration, so be it, but I can't conceptually get on board with this ability having a decay on its slow. Minimum distance is being added to this ability to limit Olaf's ability to abuse repeated minimum distance X throws on top of melee range targets. Ultimately, this pattern is counterintuitive, adds a lot of burst to Olaf, and makes the gameplay confusing to opponents who can't even see the axe in the ground since he immediately picks it up. The wall sticking change for Undertow actually just started as a cool thematic idea from Certainty. Certainty. But it also happens to solve a couple big issues I was running into with Undertow. The first is that it lets Jungle Olaf circumvent the minimum distance on Undertow to preserve his fast clear by standing near a wall and repeatedly throwing axes. The second is that it strips a bit of extraneous power off of Olaf in terms of scouting, checking Baron over and over and over with it, and sniping, which ultimately aren't very cool places for a Viking to have power, which frees him up some power budget to spend on cooler stuff. Vicious Strikes. Mana cost reduced to 25. Wow, that's a lot. Now provides 1% enhanced healing from all sources for every 2% of health Olaf is missing during the duration. This is in addition to the current mechanics on W, not replacing them. Okay. At the end of the day, this ability feels like it should be cooldown gated, not mana gated, so I've reduced the mana cost to a fairly negligible number to reduce this ability strain on Undertow. The scaling increased healing effect on this ability is meant to supplement Olaf's fight your way out pattern and better communicate to players when they want to use their W. It also opens up a tuning lever on his lane sustain so that he feels less oppressive when ahead and more resilient when he's behind. I also hope that this clarifies Olaf's itemization options, in particular opening up lifesteal items more for him. Though that remains to be seen, as I'm not really convinced the players plan around this interaction with Spirit Visage, same mechanic at the moment. Ragnarok, mana cost removed. Cooldown changed to 120, 180 from 100. Active duration changed to 5 from 6. New passive added. Olaf gains 10, 25, 40 armor. Magic resists passively. That's really strong. Active changed. Olaf removes all disables from himself and becomes immune to them for the next 5 seconds. During this time, he gains double attack speed from Berserker Rage. Removes all disables? Okay, yeah. As with Vicious Strikes, it feels crummy for Ragnarok to constrain your ability to cast Undertow, and as this will only ever be used once per fight, I've just stripped the mana cost off completely. The larger changes here are about clarifying Ragnarok's purpose and counterplay. After looking through feedback on how players perceive the counterplay and discussing this with numerous designers, I've come to the conclusion that Ragnarok is a more interesting and healthy ability if it functions as a trade-off rather than a god mode. With this direction in mind, I've added a passive armor MR component to give Olaf the tankiness he needs to be a frontliner with no mobility, and made the Ragnarok button press decision much more unstopping in order to do damage, at the cost of the resilience from damage. Hopefully this opens up the option to opposing team to focus fire down the unceasable monster coming for their carry rather than leaving them feeling completely resigned to Olaf being able to get to and kill their carry. With this being the new decision point surrounding Ragnarok, I've scaled the duration back 1 second, as I believe that Olaf's should now be casting Ragnarok slightly later in team fights once he's closer and facing imminent CC rather than using it at the start of his approach to mitigate all the incoming damage. I also think these changes holistically add a nice side effect of giving CC users a small satisfaction out of forcing Olaf's ult by hitting his resist. Thought this is admittedly pretty minor. Hope you guys enjoyed that really long discussion of what they're going to be doing to Olaf. This basically just gave us an outline of what they're doing. This is tentative and still can be changed. Some things, some wacky experimental stuff may not make it through, but this was what they are planning right now. You get to see their thoughts, their thought process. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to enter that contest giveaway. Really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Even if you didn't enter the contest giveaway, please still leave a like, comment, something about Olaf, subscribe, favorite, share, put it on everywhere, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.